Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Eric here. Today I'm with Anna from Home Slice Bakeries, and today we're going to be making
Whiskey Maple Pecan Pie.
That sounds great. The reason we're doing this dish is because, as you guys know, Thanksgiving's coming up, so this whole month we are doing Thanksgiving dishes, so tune in and let's get started.
So here I have 2.5 cups of flour. Now you have to sift it so you could add air to the flour so it makes the dough really nice and flaky and aerated. Next I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of granulated sugar. So now I'm going to mix together the dry ingredients. I took 2 sticks of butter and I cut them up into little pieces. They have to be cold, if not the dough won't properly take. And then you have to coat them nicely. To cut in the butter, I'm going to use a pastry cutter, but if you don't have one, that's fine. You can use a fork or even a food processor. Just pulse it until it resembles a coarse sand. I'm just going to gently cut into the butter until it starts giving a kind of grainy texture. This part takes a minute. It will get stuck, and that's fine. You just keep mixing it. And then just keep repeating until it cuts it to smaller and smaller pieces. A big tip I like to recommend is getting some of the butter in the dough after you've cut it, and then creating thin flakes with your thumb by putting it in between your 2 fingers, and keep repeating. That way you'll have a really nice flake on your dough. There's going to be marbling in the dough, and that's going to be the dough swirling together with the butter. Lastly, I have 6 to 8 tablespoons of ice cold water. It's very important that the water's ice cold or else the dough won't form properly. Another thing is it really depends how dry or humid your house is, so you might have to eyeball it because you might need more or less water. A little at a time. Put it down and slowly mix it, and just do it a little at a time. Let the water soak into the flour. See how it's starting to take shape little by little. 3rd time's a charm. Looks like I'm going to need just 1 more drop or 2, and then it should be ready. To make sure that I get those dry little ends. Gently mix it. Now that you actually have pieces forming together. Very important, do not knead this dough. You do not want to form gluten, or else you'll get a very tough pie dough, and that is not what we want. You're going to throw your dough onto some plastic wrap. So this is enough dough for 2 open-faced pies or 1 double crust pie. If your dough is a little wet, that's fine, because you're going to roll it on a floured surface, so you could kind of group it together. I have a bench scraper. I'm gonna split it up into 2 pieces, and I'm gonna put one on one. The other I'm just going to wrap together and push it down and form it into a disc. This way it's easy to roll out. And you have some nice marbling here from the butter. You have to let it rest in the fridge for 1 hour so the butter and the dough get to marry together beautifully. Grab some excess flour so you can lightly dust your workspace. I took my pie dough out of the film that's been resting for 1 hour. Then I gently place it on my workspace. Put some more flour on top. Then flour your rolling pin so it doesn't stick to the rolling pin. Slowly just roll it, wipe a little excess, flip, and just keep rolling. The cracks are fine, just roll them out, and then just repeat rolling, flipping, and wiping. You just use a pastry brush to wipe off the excess flour. Once you've wiped off the excess flour and rolled out your dough, you're going to put it in your pie dish. The easiest way for me is to fold it in half, wipe, and then fold it 1 more time like a slice of pizza. Then you take your pie dish and you slowly unfold it into it. And that's it. You could either grab some kitchen scissors or a knife and trim off the excess dough. Then you grab the dough and you fold it underneath so it gives it some support. Once you've folded the edges of the pie crust, you can get creative. You could get a fork and start stamping it into the dough. My favorite one is crimping. You just grab 2 and 1 finger and you push. 2, 1 finger, push. 2, 1 finger, push. And just keep going all the way around. You can even use a spoon to do like a scalloped look. You can even braid the excess dough and wrap it all the way around. I'm going to be working on my filling, so I'm going to take my finished pie shell, put it in the fridge, and preheat the oven to 375. I'm going to start my filling, so I'm going to take 3 large eggs, put them in my bowl. It looks like a happy face. Now you're going to take your whisk and beat the eggs until they're light colored and fluffy. After you lightly beat your eggs, you're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of maple syrup, 4 tablespoons of whiskey of any kind. If you don't have whiskey, that's fine. You could use a rum flavoring that can be found in any grocery store, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Gently mix everything together until the sugar and the maple syrup have dissolved and emulsified together. Half a stick of salted butter melted. Slowly mix it around a little bit. I like to use a spatula so it folds it in nicely. Now we're gonna add about 2 cups of chopped pecans into the mixture and fold them in. Now I have my chilled pie shell. I'm going to pour in the mixture. Now that you've poured your mixture into the pie shell, it's ready to go into the oven for 45 minutes. You want the rack to be on the middle. Okay guys, so the pie is done. We'll take it out right now. It has a little jiggle, so that means it's done. It's souffled a bit, and that's okay because it will go down gradually.
Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you like what you've seen, make sure you like, comment, share this video, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to check out Home Slice Bakery, go ahead and I'm gonna drop a link below in the description. So yeah guys, thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Peace!